The Dan Yorke State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
Welcome to my state of mind. I am Dan Yorke, and this is the Friday edition. We're kind of celebrating the idea that we're back in business this week, albeit on Zoom, and that will be the process here for the foreseeable future. The restaurant business has been devastated by this COVID-19 season. And tonight we're going to talk with the owners of Finn's Harborside in East Greenwich and Sardella's et al. In Newport about their common and unique perspectives on reopening. The governor has, at press time, given a green light to opening outside with some caveats, reportedly, that you'll learn about on Monday. And there's a lot of consternation that's been going on regarding that, and there's a real drive to go full open, with restrictions, real fast. Program note, just want to let you know that we will be originating programs 4 days a week, and on Mondays we will recap what was the most compelling or relevant conversation from the previous week. So we'll be back with original shows Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week, and that's kind of how this whole thing is going to work. Just want to keep you informed as to how you're viewing this, and this may be a program that you're seeing for a second time. In the meantime, let me pause here, and when we come back, you'll meet those restaurateurs for a comprehensive conversation about how they're dealing with this whole thing, how they're reacting to the governor's rules, and how they think the future is going to go. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to my state of mind here on Meyer ITV and Fox Providence. We have, we're celebrating the fact that we're back on the air this week, which is a great thing, and we're trying to touch all the bases. And of course, COVID-19 is the subject matter du jour, and a real challenge for everybody. The restaurant business is key in all of this economic recovery. We're so proud of our restaurant industry, and each of them have their own specific challenges. And I'm going to introduce you to a couple of gentlemen here who are in the midst of it, as we speak. The Finn's Harborside restaurant is owned by Mark Finn, who is somewhere on your screen here. Hey, I'm zooming for the first time. And Richard Sardella, the former mayor of Newport, who has, Sardella's and Briglio's Pizzeria and the Marina Pub. Guys, thank you very much for joining me. You know each other casually, but you're not part of the same conversation other than your restaurateurs, and so that gives us some perspective. And again, thanks. I know times are tough. Mark, give me an overview. By the way, Finn's Harborside has been around for how long now?
Harborside's been around for 50 years. Actually, it was 50 years this past March. So we've been here. My family has owned the property for that long, but we just took the restaurant over 8 years ago. This will be our 8th summer.
Well, congratulations on that. It's a fine place. And Richard, you just celebrated 40 years at Sardella's. Congratulations.
40 years at Sardella's, and my business partner Patrick has been worked for me first when he started here at age 15, and he's been here for 37 of the 40 years and became a partner in the restaurant about 15 years ago. So we're 40 years at Sardella's, 1 year at Imbriglio's, the pizzeria, and my 11th year at the Marina Pub on Goat Island in Newport.
Awesome. So obviously, we got some veteran guys here. Let's start with going backwards for just a second. When the you-know-what hit the you-know-what, tell me how this thing went down for you, Richard. What did you immediately have to do?
Well, I was on vacation for the month of March in Key West, which I do every year. We saw the news come, the news was coming, and I cut my vacation short and came back on the 16th. But I had been in consultation with my business partner because if you know, Dan, what happened here in Newport, it was the St. Patrick's Day parade is on, then it's off, right. Then it's on again, then it's off. So in consultation with my business partner, because he knew firsthand what was going on in town, I was stuck in the middle of that debacle in Key West. and I flew back on that Monday. We had already planned to close the restaurant on Tuesday before the governor had issued the edict to do so. So, we dealt with St. Patrick's Day. Fortunately for us, we're a restaurant. We're not really a bar. I mean, we have two bars, but we don't get the younger crowd. So we weren't exposed to big crowds on St. Patrick's Day.
Mark, how did this whole thing come down for you?
We were actually closed. We closed January and February every season. So we were back open again on the weekends in March. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And we actually had a very good first weekend of March. The second one before the closure was not as good. And we have a St. Patrick's Day party the Saturday before St. Patrick's Day. And it was probably 25% of the normal crowd. So I think everybody was kind of getting it in their head at that point that the closure was coming. So it was definitely not as busy as normal.
No doubt. Listen, if one of you is typing, please pause on that, because that's coming through our Zoom technology as we.
It's not here.
No, it's crazy, man. The whole
Okay.
Okay. The current situation is obvious. The takeout opportunities are there for everybody, and of course, there's a discussion from the governor in this, part 2 of phase 1 to go to outdoor momentarily. Why, while we're at it and giving background, tell me what each of you have done. Mark, are you doing the takeout thing at Finn's?
We did. We started takeout Wednesday through Sunday a couple weeks ago, and it's okay. It's a whole different ball game for everybody involved, customers and our employees. We've been doing decent. If the weather's nice, it's like any time else down by the water. If the weather's nice, people come down. And we've been doing okay, but it's probably been between 15 and 20% of our regular business.
Yeah. Inside that, are you making are you making a profit because of the lesser expenses, or is it just a loss leader trying to keep your finger in the dike?
No, it's not. We're not making money on it. It's a loss leader, really.
Just trying to keep connected. Richard, same.
We started doing takeout on May 1st. We closed down completely from March, I think it was the 17th or 16th when we got the order. And we thought it was in the best interest of our employees and our customers not to have any contact whatsoever. We did start on March 1st, and I agree with Mark. I mean, we're doing okay, but it's probably 15 to 20% of what our normal business would be this time of the year. And are we breaking even? No, the only reason why we're breaking even is because we had 3 months of forgiveness on our mortgage payments. I want to just back up a minute. Sardella's and Briglio's went through a major renovation a little over a year ago. And we don't regret it. I mean, we spent a lot of money, close to $1 million, and we see light at the end of this tunnel, but the end of the tunnel may be 18 months away.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pause here and come back with the owners of Finn's Harborside and the Sardellas and talk about what the proposals are now. There was a meeting recently about this. A bunch of restaurateurs. We'll talk about that when we return. Stay with us. Welcome back to My State of Mind here. Now, remember, this show is airing on Friday evening, and we are recording it on Thursday. It's just part of our challenge to get up and running again here, and I think it's important just to keep you in the time frame because things might be moving fast. There's a lot of gubernatorial pressure right now being put on by all sides, whether it be media, whether it be lieutenant governor's efforts right now, whether it be the restaurateurs on their own, whether it be the hospitality.
You're going to get Kelsey on Zoom.
All of that is in play. So I want to talk about that. Richard, you had an idea that you articulated in the lieutenant governor's meeting the other day about takeout. Now, let's postpone Mark's view here about getting open inside for Memorial Day for just a second. I know that you have a unique approach to takeout if that is got an extended time, or I should say outdoor dining. You want to merge takeout and outdoor dining, correct?
That is correct, and I've been urging our local and government and state officials to consider doing this. It would be the same guidelines as the governor set forth, with the exception there wouldn't be any table service. So you would call, make your order for takeout, and go to a designated table with your takeout food and takeout drink, and packaged in disposable packaging, and then finish it. And and one of our staff members would clean up afterwards and then disinfect the table and chairs, and then the next person or party would come in and sit down. Again, I hate to be repetitious, but our main concern from day one was the safety and well-being of ourselves. I'm 75 years old, our staff, and our clientele, which we consider to be friends. We have a great local following year-round. Now, I'm told this morning that starting Monday, there's a question as to whether covered porches are going to be deemed as outdoor dining. So now you just throw another wrench into the mix. I mean, it doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, I appreciate the efforts of everyone trying to get the restaurant, the hospitality industry up and going again. And I think Mark would agree with me on this, that our concern is kind of.
Let's leave that aside for a second.
Sure.
Mark, do you have a thought on Richard's premise that go to Finn's, do the takeout order, and then sit outside where you've got some availability? Does that make it more efficient for you?
It probably would not. I think in our case, I'd probably rather we'd rather just be serving plates. I can see his point of view though. And it's almost like someone having a picnic, like they get the to-go order and then they'll go sit out there with the drinks or whatever. I mean, I can understand that, and I'm not opposed to that. If that, we're already getting outside dining now. Richard did make a good point, though. We also have a covered porch that one side opens up. It's garage doors that open up. And Dan, I think you've been here before. You probably have seen that.
Yes.
And I'm kind of questioning that too. Is that outside or inside?
Well, this again. Maybe we'll see some news cycle on this. Is that buzz inside Commerce, the governor's office, and the restaurant business about this covered outdoor thing? Because it was funny. I was thinking about a couple other restaurants that are closer to my hometown. I'm thinking, oh, they'll be okay because they've got the awning and they've got the thing and Richard, where is this percolating? This covering thing might be no good either.
Well, I had a site visit this morning with our city manager, Joe Nicholson, who's doing a terrific job to look at the covered areas that I have at the 3 different restaurants. And he said, yeah, no, that's great. It meets what the governor said yesterday, that tents would be allowed. The whole idea is to get the airflow, to get fresh air flowing. And then about an hour later, I received a phone call from him saying that now they're saying covered porches may not be in the mix. So it's terribly confusing. And Mark, I was told early on that we couldn't allow people to pick up a to-go and go sit at one of our tables, even though the tables at the marina are 30 feet away from the building. And I was told that again this morning because it looks like we're going to have another nice weekend. And I wanted to continue or start doing that, but I was told that that's not legal. So I don't know.
Believe me, I ain't the state police, and we're not coming in to arrest anybody. Are you operating kind of entrepreneurially, thinking that was just a creative way to do business? All bets are off in this situation in context. But did you get some approval for people to take out and hang, or how does that work? Yeah, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get approval, but we really don't have people sitting at our tables either. So, in fact, we didn't have any set up until just recently. We're getting ready for Monday, which is supposed to rain, so it's not going to probably do it good. But yeah, as far as, you know, you've seen the area that we have, Dan, and we have a lot of outside seating. But as far as people getting to go, most of them come in their car. The only time that would be something that happens is if someone comes in by boat, because we do serve boat side also. So they sit on their boat and, you know, eat their takeout.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so when we come back, we're going to talk about where we are now, because the meeting that folks had at Cello's 2 nights ago, as people are watching this, really is like about opening up the game, getting some indoor dining going on here, and I want to hear your arguments, both of you, on that when we come back on Dan Yorke State of Mind. Stay with us. Welcome back for our final segment here on Dan Yorke State of Mind. Mark, Finn's Harborside in a meeting at Cello's 2 nights ago. Last night, as I record this on Thursday, consensus among some 50 restaurateurs was you want to write to the governor and you want to get open by Memorial Day. What's the logic here? Meaning indoor.
I think the main point of the meeting last night was we are sending a letter to the governor, to Stephen Pryor, probably. The whole premise was if we can keep tables apart and do the same thing that we're going to be doing with outside dining, just doing it inside, as far as keeping everybody apart, masks, disposable menus, the whole thing, same as we'd be doing outside. A lot of people complain that they don't have outside seating. And we do have outside seating, except if it's raining out, then you're going to be closed just as you were before Monday. So I think that the big point was a lot of the restaurateurs that were there last night was we don't have outside dining. We're not going to put tables out in the street or on the sidewalk. Why can't you just let us open up inside and keep the same distancing going on? And I understand where the governor's coming from. It's, you know, they don't want to do too much too soon, but this has been going on, you know, quite a while, and there's a lot of restaurants that are really hurting. Us being one of them. You know, I mean, we're doing 10% of the sales that we normally do, 10 to 15%.
But Richard, are you with Mark in that group? Do you want to, I mean, conceptually, do you want to just pass go and get right to the indoor dining on an accelerated level?
No. When I say no, every restaurant is different, and every restaurant owner has their own, you know, goals and for what they want to do with their restaurant. We're going to take it in baby steps. If the governor says, yes, you could open up and it'll be one person per every, you know, square, 25% of your capacity, and the tables have to be so much apart, we'll start opening. But we have a unique setup over here at Sardella's. We have 6 private, different dining rooms. So we'll start one at a time, taking it easy, see how we take our staff's temperature when they arrive every day before they come to work. If they're over 100 degrees, fortunately, we haven't had anyone in that area yet. We would ask them to go home. We take their temperature at the end of the night when they're done with their shift.
Well, you know what is incredible about this conversation is that it expresses and alliterates what everybody knows. The restaurant business is so diverse. You know, little tiny restaurants, big restaurants, outdoor dining, indoor dining, bar, this, that, entertainment. The complexity of this is incredible, and not unlike some other industries that have been regulated in this COVID-19 response. And again, notwithstanding the governor's great efforts and the Department of Health's great efforts on, you know, lowering the curve, you know, being under the curve, the hospital preparation. I mean, the core safety issues. We've got some arguments now that the emergency time period is kind of run its proper course. The General Assembly has been completely absent on any input in this whole process. And the discretion and the flexibility for industries, you know, amongst this moratorium is seemingly zero. And that's what, Mark, your group, I mean, you had 50 people together in a meeting. I'm sure everyone has a different dynamic, correct? I mean, give me a short.
Yeah, every restaurant's different. That's why the 20 tables you know, for us, we could have more than 20 tables at one time because we have the seating outside. So just to say you can't have over 20, I mean, look at a place like Twin Oaks. I mean, you know, 20 tables to them is when they start inside is nothing. Any type of large venue like that. And my whole point is that it's not a cookie cutter. So every restaurant's different. They probably all should have customized limitations on what they can do or can't do.
Yeah, and that's the nuance, because remember, discretion. Richard is uncomfortable with going fast. You'd like to get into the ball game. Customers may be uncomfortable with customers are going to have to be smart about where they're going and how they're dining and what their discretion is. And everyone is going to be in some place here sooner than later to have to make their own decisions and do their own homework about everything they're doing and moving through society, never mind just dining. So it's a hard thing, and we'll keep tabs with both of your perspectives and the industry perspectives over the course of the next week or so. Richard, if you can give me a 20-second summary as to, you know, where you see this thing and where are we going, real quick.
Well, as Mark said, it's up to each individual restaurant. We follow the guidelines that are set forth by the governor. I want to know, why is Monday the magic date and not tomorrow when we're looking at a good weekend? As Mark pointed out earlier, it's supposed to rain on Monday. So that blows the whole damn thing on Monday, especially if we can't do the covered porches. What I don't want to do is get in a situation where the virus is going to spread and it's going to come October or November. We get an order to close down for a year. So again, everyone has to make their own decision as to what's best for them, following the guidelines that are set by the governor.
Appreciate it. Mark, give me 20 seconds real quick. Follow up.
I think we're all going to be changed, obviously, in the future. This is not going to be the same landscape that we've all seen before. We have to change our way of business. We have to be innovative just to survive. I mean, if you would have told me a year ago that we'd be in this situation, I would have said that you were nuts. But I really, I feel that we're all going to have to change in some manner.
Listen, guys, thank you. Finn's Harborside and Sardella's. Patronize them when you can. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sam.
Pace conversation on the restaurants and more. We'll keep up with it next week on Dan Yorke State of Mind. Have a great weekend. Good night.